फ्रेंड्स वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल। ड्राफ्टिंग स्किल्स इन टैक्स प्रोसीडिंग्स के वीडियोस में हम आगे चल रहे हैं। दिस इज़ वीडियो नंबर 4 एंड आई एम मेकिंग अ सीरीज ऑफ वीडियोस वेर इन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ड्राफ्टिंग स्किल्स. ड्राफ्टिंग स्किल इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन दिस न्यू फेसलेस रेजीम एंड मेरे अगर आपने पहले वाले वीडियोस देखे हैं तो आपको वहाँ पे इंट्रोडक्शन एंड ब्रीफ मिल जाएगा. So let us proceed with the slides. I will be in this video मैं आपको सारी चीज़ें बताऊंगी. हमारा बेसिक बॉडी कैसा होना चाहिए एंड उसका ओपनिंग स्टेटमेंट कैसे होना चाहिए, क्लोजिंग स्टेटमेंट कैसा होना चाहिए एंड what should be in between so that you have a very effective communication with the authorities in this specially faceless regime. So effective opening, it is important that you know what doubt the assessing officer has when you get addressed your submission. जब हमारे पास नोटिस आता है 143(2) का एंड उसके बाद 142(1) का जो कि एक डिटेल्ड होता है, तो हमें एक आइडिया आ जाता है कि इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट या वो असेसिंग ऑफिसर हमसे एग्जैक्टली क्या जानना चाहता है एंड विच इज़ द एरिया विच ही इज़ ट्राइंग टू लुक इनटू एंड ही इज़ ट्राइंग टू हार्प अपॉन. सो ये शो कॉज नोटिस पढ़ने से आ जाता है. देयरफॉर बिफोर यू स्टार्ट एड्रेसिंग द इशू, first convey to the AO that you know exactly what doubt the learned AO is anchoring or what details he is requiring while issuing the notice. And what you are going to say in the next few paragraphs is intended to address exactly what doubt that he has in his mind or his requirement. So this can be conveyed many a times by giving effective subtitles. I will take you to the submissions also. मैं आज आपको CIT अपील सबमिशंस मैंने बनाए अपने क्लाइंट के लिए, हम उसी पे लेके जाऊंगी आपको. ऑफ कोर्स इट इज़ नॉट द रेगुलर सबमिशन, इट इज़ अ CIT अपील सबमिशन. रेगुलर सबमिशन भी बहुत सारी वीडियोस हैं, कहीं ना कहीं आई एम गोइंग टू कवर देम ऑल्सो व्हेन द रेलेवेंट टॉपिक हिट्स इन. सो आज मैं आपको CIT अपील रिटर्न सबमिशंस का ड्राफ्ट फॉर्मेट बताऊंगी क्योंकि उसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें आ जाती हैं विच बिकॉज मैं इसको पूरा मोर और लेस बॉडी, ओपनिंग स्टेटमेंट, कंक्लूजन सब लेने वाली हूँ. सो आई एम गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद दैट सबमिशंस. इट हैज़ एवरीथिंग ऑल इंक्लूसिव. This can be conveyed many a times by giving effective subtitles to a submissions followed by a line or two as introduction. When we first stress the importance and the relevance of what we are going to say, we are increasing the likelihood of our submissions being seriously read, appreciated, assimilated and applied. ज़रूरी है ये, इसीलिए we have to start, whenever you start, the opening statement has to be the bingo. Effective closing होनी चाहिए. We should close our communication to the AO using thus the wisdom which is greater secret than all secrets has been declared to you by me. Having reflected upon it fully, you now act as you chose. So now, after disclosing all the things in detail, your effective closing statement has to be like this. You can elaborate it, shorten it, the way you like it, but then it has to pass out a clear message. Thus, the SSE submits, this has to be the message. Thus, the SSE submits that the proposed addition is uncalled for and illegal based on the facts and the law explained here and above. You may kindly consider the same in finalizing the assessment, sir. By saying that you may kindly consider the same in finalizing the assessment, we are telling the AO that you may now act as you choose. Yes, exactly. This is what we intend. Given the facts, given the clarity on the subject, given the clarity on the doubt that you possess, and after giving the details explanation along with the proofs, it is now up to you. Now, since I have disclosed everything, now we are passing the ball to the assessing officer and now he has to play the game. So now tips and techniques, summarize your submissions and provide an assurance to the AO that by following this, you are actually administering justice and following the law in word and in spirit. बहुत सारी जगहों पर हम sections quote करते हैं. We put the raw section in place. It's not because कि हम वो सेक्शन पढ़ाना चाहते हैं उन्हें, वो इसलिए कि वी आर रीप्रोड्यूसिंग इट सो दैट कहीं और इधर उधर ना देखे बिना हम इमीजिएटली वी कम एंड हिट द रेलेवेंट टॉपिक एंड वी आर ऑन विद द एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स दैट इज बीन प्लेस्ड इन द सेक्शन. Please note that while addressing the AO appellate authority, use the kind words like sir, your good self, your honor, like this. Sir, with the foregoing submissions. We generally write like this. Your honor, your good self will appreciate. We start like this normally. So, with the foregoing submissions, we believe that the proposal of making the addition as laid down in the show cause notice would be dropped. If, however, your good self still harbor any doubt or reservations in this behalf, we shall be glad to elucidate our submissions or provide more information explanations if need be on hearing from you either in writing or in the video conference hearing that you may kindly provide to us on this behalf. This paragraph you should definitely note it down, and this has to be your closing statement. Generally, this has to be the closing statement, and this is what I incorporate even in my submissions. You can use the exact word, or if this seems to be so fancy to you, you may elaborate this more to your relevant topic, giving some bold bullets or points or like that stuff. But then the idea is to give the best of the closing statement, and that you are open to any further discussion and information and explanation which the AO might sought from you in future for arriving at a better and informed judgment. Last lines of your letter as aforesaid will serve the following purpose. The AO will be receptive because you have addressed him with due respect. He knows that this is not necessarily your last word, leaving him free to interpret or rather misinterpret your submissions the way he wants, and you have left an avenue open for you to really clarify certain things if the AO is still carrying any more doubts. That's what I said before. So we have to be very careful with this. Opening lines has to be damn good. There has to be fleshy meat inside when you are on the body of the submission, and the closing statement definitely has to be the best of it. This has to be the format. So between the opening and conclusion lies the substance of these submissions, namely the merits. I will take you to one of the submissions which I discussed earlier, and then there you would see the way things have been explained and the way we have gone ahead with the issues, namely the merits of the issue raised by the AO. Filling in the real meat in the main portion of the submission is extremely important. This is what is your main facts and the details that you point out. The submissions on the merits of the matter be presented in the following sequence, namely reproduction or brief narration of the exact query raised in the show cause notice. We generally do this. I will take you right away to the topic. Okay, so here we have, this is written submissions before the CITA. Okay, let me bring this to continuous scroll. Okay, so this is what I have, and then here I am trying to accept government contract. See, if you see this, I have given a brief introduction of the case. I am given that there is a survey action being taken on my so-and-so client. The client identity is kept a little bit of secret in this, so I think you can bear with it. So I have this statutory notices 143.2, 142.1 here I am having, and I'm giving the details of it, and then I am giving the explanation that why is the addition done. Since this is a CIT appeal, I have gone in brief, but when it comes to the AO, I would like to reproduce everything what he's put in the notice. So this is what I'm trying to give. And then in this particular, if you see, I have explained the case of my assessee. I'm trying to explain in this initial a few pages, I'm trying to explain the business of the assessee, the way he functions, so that the assessing officer is exactly knowing and exactly in line with what I am trying to explain him. So at the cost of repetition, the assessee maintains proper books. This is what I'm trying to tell him, so that in this particular case, the AO has not rejected the books, and that is why I'm harping upon that the assessor is maintaining proper books of accounts, and then he is maintaining it. So there is a very less room left for you to make any addition which you can say as unexplained. So this is basically section 69A and 69C addition on which I have done my submissions, and 115BB is a monster section. Everybody knows that this brings in a lot of a high rate of taxation. So here I'm telling the assessment officer that this is I'm telling the CIT appeal that this is the high pitched assessment, and then here if you see, I am referring to the show cause notice, and the relevant extract of the same is reproduced below. So I am reproducing the relevant extract. Exactly, this is what the show cause notice is. So wherever important, you need to put in the details. And here I have also replied to point number 5 like this. In my submission, what I have given, I have also reproduced my reply. Since this is before the CITA, तो हमने वहाँ पे जो असेसिंग ऑफिसर के सामने हमने जो सबमिशंस दिए थे उसका भी हमने यहाँ पे रिप्रोड्यूस किया है, द रेलेवेंट extract. So if you see this is a very detailed submission. This is, I think, an 86-page submission, ground-wise submissions what I have done. Okay, let's come back to my slide. And here we are. So if you see this, I am on this. Well-organized structure, reproduction or brief narration of the exact query raised in the show cause notice, along with the serial number of the relevant query, so that there is an absolute clarity as to what exactly you are addressing. Yes, there should not be any ambiguity in whatever you are reproducing there. So be very clear. Mention the para. If the numbers are not mentioned in the assessment order, the paragraph number is not mentioned, then try to reproduce it exactly the way it is, and then you start addressing your point on the same. Narrating how you have dealt with the relevant issue in your return of income and how it has been disclosed in your audited accounts and in the audit report, tax audit report, or other statutory reports which are required to be filed with the return of income. So here we are, and we are moving to the next slide. Have I missed the slide? Okay, now we have here okay, so this is what we have done. Moving forward, so thereafter narrate the concerned transaction entry in greater detail along with adequate documentary evidences like agreements, invoices, receipts, vouchers, minutes of the board, shareholders meetings, bank statements. These are all relevant documents which you need to give it at the time of your submissions, and this forms a part of your evidence that what you're trying to speak out is supported by very well by the documents. So if required, support your facts with the help of affidavits or certificates. Affidavits play a very important role. In the coming videos also, we are going to discuss this, the relevance of each and every document which you're trying to produce before the assessing officer. So if required, support your facts with the help of affidavits or certificates from an expert or relevant third party. What is to be remembered is that putting the factual aspects before the assessing officer or the assessment unit is the most important thing in the entire gamut of tax proceedings, because putting any new facts for the first time before the appellate authority is always a challenge. In view of the restrictive provisions of Rule 46A, yes, we're going to discuss this also in our future videos. This is again a very important rule, and what are the pros and cons and do's and don'ts of this rule, that also we're going to discuss. In case the facts narrated by you are different from what is stated or alleged in the notice, make categorical statement. It is important here. You have to categorically disagree to what is being mentioned in the notice. Statement that the allegation presumption in the notice is unfounded or it doesn't go well because of these relevant facts. Give your submissions, give it with the proof of the documents also. In case the facts are correct but the inference of the AO is incorrect, say so. Definitely say so with the help of the document or other evidences. Evidences play again a very important role, and the way you explain your entire Case is also very important. In case you need to produce evidences other than mere documents, for example, samples of goods produced, samples of wastages coming out in the production process, production of a witness like an engineer or an expert, crave leave in the letter to produce the same before any designated officer of the department. Put in your words, put in your request that we would like them to testify this, and you will be given an opportunity. If you're not given an opportunity, you have a strong case before the next appellate authority. So you better be aware of this right of yours and definitely exercise it. In case you are merely providing samples of documents where the AO has asked for it, this I have already made a point that where you're giving, where the volume is so high, then you can give samples and you can definitely give an express this thing that whichever details you want in full, that we will be happy to reproduce because of the voluminous data. Finally, support your stand with legal submission with the help of relevant provisions of the Act, rules, case law, circulars, etc. So here, when I take you to the preview, in this also, I have put in various, this is what the facts I have produced, and then if you see, in this particular submission, I have given I have quoted the relevant, if you see this, I have quoted the relevant case laws also, which is exactly fitting my case. And whenever you are quoting a case law, make sure that the fonts are small and it is in italics and indented inside so that it looks like as if you have really reproduced what has been there. Okay, so I am here. This is very important. The way you present your written submissions, or the way you present your submissions or the reply before the assessing officer, that makes a huge difference. Because when I remember when I was in school or college, sorry, when I was preparing for my exams, my professional exams, one of my learned teacher told us that when you are writing the paper, write it the way that allow the examiner to breathe in. If you are making it so cluttered, so uneasy to read, they will damn give it a look. So it's very important. That same thing I still follow. Of course, I cleared my exams in my first attempt, no doubt about it. But then that was a lesson for life. Until now, I follow those instructions, and I very well keep it in my mind that whenever I'm drafting a submission, I make it a point that I allow space to breathe in. There is not too much of data dumping in and so cluttered that it makes it so difficult to read. Okay, that's a valuable piece of advice which I would want my viewers to take it and just to accept it the way it is and just incorporate it in their submissions. Give references of all the past communications. This is very, very important. Sent in relation to the ongoing proceedings in the opening paragraph, irrespective of whether those past communications are in relation to the concerned subject matter or not. This merely reiterates the various submissions already made, so that if in the assessment order the AO considers one and not the other, the reference to all the earlier submissions in all your communication comes to your rescue. इसका एक फ़ायदा और भी होता है. If the AO had proposed in the very initial stage, अगर उसने कम से कम 8, 10, 15 additions करने की सोची है, and by the time the assessment order comes in, there are 2 to 3 additions left, then definitely you have a valid point that all these points he had agreed to me, but this is for the sake of addition that he was willing to make, and he was not, for some reason, he has just picked them up. Whatever the reason be, you are justifying that in your submission now. So the higher authorities, when you go before the higher appellate authorities, they are very well aware that you have complied to everything what the AO has asked, and this AO has chose to differ from your submissions. So there you will definitely get a considerate view. And it is definitely, believe me, I have done this many times, even though those submissions have been accepted, but then still I have made it a point that I quote it everywhere, wherever possible, that this is what submissions we have made. Preferably prepare a paginated proper paper book This is particular in case of your written submissions when you are preparing before the CITA, because there you given the in the indexes you give reply so many replies that you file it in the paper book, and then you prepare an index and you place the page number so that it becomes very easy and not difficult for them to, for the CITA or the other authorities to look into the relevant copy. Or if you are referring a case law which you really want to rely upon and it has identical facts, then again definitely I would suggest that you should put in the case law ka photocopy also, circular copies and all that stuff. Give cross-referencing by way of page numbers or the unique file number, name of the attachments that you're submitting along with your submissions. This makes it easy at the stage of appeals to prove that the said material was actually filed. Yes. Now, other important points: reproduce the critical clauses from the agreements or critical extracts from the minutes of the meetings or from an invoice or any other document with pointing out exact page number of the paper book where he can find it, so as to save time of the assessment unit in going through big documents and to assess them in focusing. I generally what मैं क्या करती हूँ, whichever relevant point is there in the agreement, I just reproduce it as it is. PDF का copy लो, उसको select करो, rectangular selection, go for a rectangular selection, copy it, paste it. It is as simple as that, and it is so authentic. लिखते समय आप गलती भी कर सकते हो, but when you just copy paste it, the exact thing, then it happens the way it is and the way it has been there in the agreement. So no chances of error. So you should try not to make any error where you can definitely avoid the same. Similarly, reproduce the critical paragraphs of a decision on which you're relying, or even though the copy of the decision is filed by you separately. Okay. So they conclude, Mr. Palkhiwala, he is the most admired person I'm a fan of him since when I started preparing for my professional exam. I'm a fan of him. So there is a treatise titled as The Law and the Practice of Income Tax. So the law is what it is, and the practice is the law that you want to put in place before the assessing officer. That's the practice. So it's the practice of income tax. The present video series is definitely an effort by us at Condesh to reinvent the practice of income tax in the light of new faceless regime, such as that the tax administration is satisfied that all its queries and doubts are fully answered by the assessee. Yes, you have to make sure this point. This is very, very, very important. Whichever point is highlighted in the notice, all those queries and doubts you need to fully answer. I always make it a point. In all my videos, if you see on the channel, I always tell you, please reply to the notice. Please reply to the point. Don't deviate from the topic. The tax practitioner is satisfied that he has left no stone unturned. This is generally what we do. We leave no stone unturned in the effort to save the client, which we are representing. The taxpayer is satisfied that his representation has been done to the best of the efforts, and the tax practitioner has left no stone unturned. And the government is satisfied that its decision of introducing the faceless regime is meeting with success. Definitely, I am going ahead with this now. Let us go. I'll once again rush you up with this. Now you see, I have reproduced my this thing, and then I am explaining the details. I am giving the ground-wise submissions, and every ground I am trying to make up a point. And then if you see, I have, wherever it is possible, I have quoted case laws, and I am relying on so many of the case laws here. And at the time of, here, see if you see this case laws. So when you're relying on any of the case laws, you have to be pretty sure that it exactly matches your case. And if at all there are any other case laws further to that, which has any courts which have disagreed with that judgment, that also you need to distinguish from your case, that how that judgment is not applicable to you, which is against the assessee.